Welcome everybody, it's time for maths. I'm Mr. 8.
I'm Mr. S.
And let's get moving on. Yesterday we sent you away to practice your times tables. 6 times 6.
41. Oh, sorry, try again.
No, he should have been practicing, but hopefully you have. Now today we're going to take it a step further. You're going to start amalgamating some skills. We love that word. You're going to take your times table knowledge and a skill of using something called partitioning, which we'll talk about in a minute, to complete our level up lesson. So, as always, there is a link in the description down below that already has the worksheet on it. Get that ready now, and as the lesson goes on, we'll get you to stop the video, complete a level, and once you've done it, you can level up and go on to the next one, and we'll work our way through together. So, partitioning. It's a very difficult word, but we won't need it till level 2. Because all level 1 is what we call one digit multiplied by one digit multiplication. Let's put an example on the board.
Right, so as you can see on level 1, it's a simple one digit by one digit multiplication like Mr. A said. Now, I'm afraid the bad news is, once you get down to this, these are like the bare bones of multiplications, and there really isn't any shortcut. We can teach you, when you see in level 2 and 3, we'll teach you methods that can make things easy for you. But I'm afraid, as I always tell my class, once you get down to this, level 1, you just have to know it. And the only way to know it is to practice. Okay, so I know 7 8 are 56. I don't even really need to think about it or work it out. I just know it's in there. Okay? Because I've practiced and I've practiced and I've practiced and I've practiced and I've practiced. Okay? Maybe you're sat there and you're brilliant at multiplication tables and you knew that answer straight away, but perhaps you didn't. And I'm afraid there's no shortcut, there's no easy way. You just have to know your times tables all the way up to 12 times 12 if you're in year 4 and everything in between. So that is level 1. It's kind of an easy level, but it also potentially could be a really big level if you don't know them yet, but you do have to practice them.
And if you do know them, don't just skip by it. Treat it as a warm-up, get yourself stretched off and ready to go on to level 2 and 3. So right now, pause the video and go and do your task. Right, it's time to level up. Welcome to level 2. And now we're going to stick with multiplication, but we're going to go on to one digit multiplied by two digit numbers. Ooh. So I'm going to keep my 7 there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to multiply it by 28.
So, at this point, I said earlier you need to know your times tables, and you do, but we wouldn't expect you to know the 28 times table, nor would we expect you to know what 28 lots of 7 are. It's not something you'll just have in your memory. Some of you might, which would be very impressive, but most of you won't. So this is where our partitioning method comes in. And partitioning, like Mr. A said, it's a very long word, but it's got a pretty simple meaning.
It's probably one of my favourite skills in maths. I just generally find it quite fun to be able to break things apart.
It's very fun and it's super, super useful, because what we're going to do is we're going to take that 28, which is a big number, and it's at the moment, it's pretty clunky number. It's not making our equation
it's not manageable.
Easy. No. So we're going to partition, and the easiest way to partition a number, and there's loads of ways to partition numbers, but the easiest one is to break it into its tens and its ones. Now, we did a whole week, didn't we, on place value, so you can go back and watch them if you're struggling with that. But we just break it into its tens and its ones. Now, how many tens are in this number? That's right, there are 2 tens, which is 20. So one part of this number is 20.
So now we're going to multiply 7 by that part first of all. So 7 multiplied by 20.
Ooh. 7 times. Now again, I know 7 12s. I know that, but
I don't know 7 times 20. No. Now then we use an amalgamation of another skill called if I know. You see, if I, for a brief moment, just imagine that placeholder, that 0 isn't there, that calculation looks an awful lot like 7 times 2. Now I do know 7 times 2 is 14.
Yeah.
But wait, the calculation was 7 times 20, which is 7 times 2 lots of 10. So 7 times 2 is 14. I can therefore say 7 times 2 lots of 10 equals 14 lots of 10, which is 140. So it's very similar to 7 times 2, just 10 times greater. Now, if we finish the calculation here, Mr. S, we've done 7 times 20.
Yes, we've got to remember the other part after partitioning. And you can see the other part is the ones, and there are 8 ones.
So is it 20 times 8?
No, it's not 20 times 8 because we are still multiplying by this number. We're always multiplying by 7 in this question. So it's not 20 lots of 8. We've used the 20. It's still 7 lots of something. So 7 lots of 8. And again, like we said before, we can get it down to the bare bones, but you guys have to work and put the effort into this, but we can't give you any more shortcuts.
Thankfully, we already know 7 times 8 is 56. Now, I've multiplied my 7 by 20. I've multiplied my 7 by 8, but I've still got 2 separate answers. Here's where you'll need to just add those 2 parts together to find your whole. Now, we could use column addition, but from a lesson a while ago when we were getting you to do mental addition, I can tell from looking at this that when I add my 1s, and then when I add my 10s and my 100s, there won't be any regrouping or carrying that needs to be done. So I can do this in my head. 0 1s add 6 1s is 6. 4 lots of 10 add 5 lots of 10 is 9 lots of 10. And 1 lot of 100 add no lots of 100 is still 1 lot of 100. So that's level 2. Work it through by partitioning the number, multiplying it by those parts that you found, and then adding those answers together to get your final multiple. Off you go. Pause the video. Right, it is time to level up.
Welcome to level 3. What do you think level 3 is going to involve? In level 1, we did 1 digit by 1 digit numbers. In level 2, we did 1 digit by 2 digit numbers. What do you think level 3 is going to be? Correct. 1 digit by 3 digit numbers.
Right, I've just moved everything up the board to make sure we can see all of our working out. Now, there is no way, as Mr. S mentioned before, that we expect you to know your times tables past 12. So there's no way you're going to know your 286 times tables. But this is where we're going to partition. We want 7 multiplied by this number, but we're going to break this number up and do it in parts. So our first part, Mr. S, how many hundreds do we have here?
We have 2 hundreds. So the first part of our calculation is going to be 7 times 200. And this is not that difficult to work out. It's exactly the same skill as we used last time. It's just this time, it's lots of 100 instead of lots of 10.
Yeah, because last time we had 2 lots of 10. Now I've got 2 lots of 100.
So 7 lots of 2 we know is 14. But we know that this is lots of 100, not just lots of 1. So we have to make it 14 lots of 100,
yeah,
which looks like this. 1400 you could say, or 1400. The next part, Mr. A?
Well, we've done 7 times 200, so I'm just going to work through in order to make sure I don't miss anything. 7 times 8, but 8 lots of 10, which is 80. 7 multiplied by 80. Now, earlier, Mr. S told us that 7 times by 8 was 56, but this isn't just 8, this is 8 lots of 10. So 7 times by 8 is 56, 7 times by 8 lots of 10 is 560. It looks like 56, but it's been moved left along the place value grid to get 10 times greater.
Very good. So now we have one final part. We know there's 3 parts because it's a 3-digit number.
We've done the hundreds, we've done the tens, it's time for the ones. 7 times 6, Mr. S.
And once again, we've reached that point where you just have to know it, I'm afraid. We're back down to those bare bones. 7 times 6, I know my 7 times table. I know my 6 times table. I know this is 42.
Now you might be saying, Mr. A, why have you arranged them so there's such a big gap between the equal signs and my answer? That's because I was prepared. You might want to rewrite your numbers out for this next step, but I thought to save space and time, I'm just going to lay them out ready for the next step, because my next step is to add all these together. And from looking at this, I know I can't do this mentally. I'm going to have to do it with a written method, which is column addition. Now, I've already made sure that all my place value columns line up, my 1s, my 10s, my 100s, and my 1000s. I now just need to draw my line underneath, place my addition symbol in there so I know what operation I'm doing, and start with my 1s. 0 1s add 0 1s add 2 1s is 2. We haven't got anything there, so let's ignore him. 6 lots of 10 add 4 lots of 10.
10 lots of 10.
Ooh, which regroups, remember, 10 lots of 10 regroups into 100. So the 0 of the 10 goes in the 10s, and that 1 carries over underneath the hundreds column. Very important. 4 lots of 100 add 5 lots of 100.
9 lots of 100.
Wait there. Add the 1 extra lot of 100.
That makes 10 lots of 100.
Which is the same as 1,000. So 10 lots of 100, we put the 0 in the hundreds column, and we carry that 1 over from the 10. lots of 100 into the thousands. Now we've got 1,000, add just my other 1,000 equals
2,000.
So 7 multiplied by 286 equals
2,002.
So that is your task for level 3. We hope that you've done really well going through the levels. Go and complete this, and we will see you tomorrow for more maths.